that there was some kind of surveillance on the Trump team. Let's listen in.
But today's going to be a little bit of a wild day with all the votes, and I wanted to make sure that I got information to you as quickly as possible, as I've always committed to all of you. I have 4 announcements this morning. The first is that yesterday, Ranking Member Schiff and I agreed to request that the FBI brief the full committee on information regarding the ongoing counterintelligence investigation that had been previously limited to Mr. Schiff and myself. So that was an agreement that we reached yesterday. Secondly, the committee will ask Director Comey and Admiral Rogers to appear in closed session and will postpone the previously scheduled March 28th hearing in order to make time available for Director Comey and Admiral Rogers. The committee seeks additional information from Monday's hearing that can only be addressed in closed session. Thirdly, and I know a lot of you are wondering about the documents that we're supposed to receive today, I will say that the NSA has kept us completely informed the entire time. They are fully cooperating. It is possible that we would receive documents today from the NSA as we've requested. The original deadline was on March 15th, but I want to caution that I don't expect the entirety of everything that we need today, so I would hope that by early next week we'll have a better accounting of what the NSA is able to provide us. So I'm telling you that just so you know that you're not going to, you don't need to hang out down here, because we're not going to have any more information on those today. Lastly and fourthly, yesterday the counsel for Paul Manafort contacted the committee yesterday to offer the committee the opportunity to interview his client. We thank Mr. Manafort for volunteering and encourage others with knowledge of these issues to voluntarily interview with the committee. And so those are the 4 things I wanted to alert you of this morning, and so stay tuned for more. Yes. Yes,
Congressman, does Paul Manafort's name appear in the new files that you have received?
No. The ones the documents that I viewed this week, no.
Okay, follow up, please. Are you recalling Director Comey because you believe he was not forthcoming in his earlier testimony based on the new documents?
It's not. It has nothing to do with the documents that I've seen. I will say that I think that there are just questions that we have for Director Comey and Admiral Rogers, probably that they just couldn't answer in a public setting. But it's necessary to get both of them back down here before we can move on to other interviews.
So this is not. Wait, I want to be clear on this. So you were recalling them, not on the basis of the new documents.
That is correct. Not on the basis of the documents that I have seen and that I'm hoping to get today or over the weekend or first part of next week from NSA and other agencies.
Will Paul Manafort talk in an open session, or will this be in a closed session?
We don't know that, but he voluntarily offered to come to the committee. We will work it out. Our lawyers, Republicans and Democrats, will work with his lawyers to see what exactly he wants to do. If he wants to come out in public and have a public hearing, he's more than welcome to do that. If he wants to do it in a closed setting, that's also fine with me.
Last night on Sean Hannity's show, you said that one reason why you briefed the president was because he's been taking a lot of heat in the news media. What did you mean by that?
I'm stating the obvious. Maybe you can follow me around, ask me more questions today. Yes, sir.
In the documents you reviewed, how many names were unmasked?
I don't know that yet. So I'm aware of, just so I can be perfectly clear, so there was additional unmasking that was done in the documents that I read the other day. I don't know who asked for them to be unmasked. I just know that there are more. Now, just so you know, I was aware of the unmasking before I read the documents.
Schiff has suggested it might just be one, or that the unmasking might have been done for appropriate reasons.
I mean, look, I think I'm the only one that's seen the documents as far as I know, and I can tell you that, we have, I knew about the unmasking before I read the documents, and I'll just leave it at that.
And when you read the documents, explain what you knew about the unmasking before reading the documents?
It did.
Chairman,
yes.
Chairman, as far as the sources of these documents, is he a whistleblower around the NSA?
Yeah, we don't, as you know, and I've said this several times, we don't talk about sources at this committee. We want more people to come forward. The good thing is that we have continued to have people come forward voluntarily to this committee, and we want to continue that. And I will tell you that that will not happen if we tell you who our sources are and people that come to the committee.
But I mean, like, just as far as the situation in terms of a whistleblower, or is it someone who wants to be hidden for?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. We want people to come forward, and we will protect the identity of those people at all costs.
Are you going to brief Adam Schiff on directly? Are you going to brief Adam Schiff on the full extent of what you've seen? He's made it sound like he's been sort of kept in the dark.
Yeah, I was hoping to get the documents today. It doesn't sound like we'll get a full accounting of those, but hopefully they come in either today or over the weekend or earlier in the week.
The ones from the letter.
The ones from the letter that Mr. Schiff and I sent that were due on March 15th.
The ones that your source gave you.
We won't. The letter should cover. The letter actually should encompass everything that I've seen.
And do you
Yes.
think was President Trump surveilled directly? And do you believe that what you have uncovered is validation of the tweets he released a couple weeks ago?
No, I think I've been very clear. There was no, and as a matter of fact, I've been very clear on this for many weeks now. There was no wiretapping of Trump Tower. That didn't happen. Yes.
Was he surveilled? Was he indirectly?
Members of Congress have suggested on the record that your Wednesday press conference might have been orchestrated by the White House. Can you say categorically, can you deny?
Yes, I can, because it was exactly as I told you. Were you here on Wednesday? It was. Okay, so I came out here and I told you all that I was going to go to the White House. I had talked to the White House. My staff had talked to the White House earlier that day to request a meeting with the president, and I had not talked to the president before that. Yes.
Can you clarify whether Trump or his associates were monitored or just mentioned in these intelligence reports?
We won't know that until we actually receive all of the documentation. It's hard to know where the information came from until you get the reports and have time to go through them and see all the sourcing of the documents. And I'm not going to speculate until we get them all, because it was dozens of reports.
Mr. Schiff,
since this does not, the information you saw does not involve Russia, are you going to start a separate investigation, or are you going to break this away from the Russian investigation? Are you going to siphon it off in some way?
I don't know about that yet. I mean, it's all in the scope of what we're looking at in terms of unmasking of names, leaks. It's all in that same body. If we have to section it off and look at it a different way, we will, but we haven't got to that point yet. Yes, sir.
Legitimate reasons for intelligence agencies to unmask the names of current transition officials. For example, incidental collections could refer to chatter between FISA targets. Presumably, wouldn't those intelligence agencies want to know who is being discussed in these? Are there legitimate reasons to unmask some of these names? Are you saying that some of the evidence you've seen suggests illegitimate reasons?
Yeah. So. There are reasons to unmask names. I can tell you without question, at least some of what I've seen, I don't know what that reason would be. Maybe someone has a good reason for it, but not from what I've been able to read. A couple more questions. I know we're going to have votes on.
Mr. Schiff said it was baffling that you did not brief him, and also he also said it was baffling that you could not rule out that the White House was your source behind the documents. Can you just categorically say that the White House was not the source?
You've asked this question many times, and I will continue to say the same thing. You can ask me every single name that exists on the planet, and I'm still not going to tell you who our sources are.
Mr. Chairman. Is there any suspicion that there perhaps was reverse surveillance going on in terms of looking to actually surveil a Trump associate, but doing so through surveilling AFL?
No, it all looked, as I said the other day, it appears like this was all legal. Okay, it looks like it was all legal surveillance from what I can tell, but until we get the documents, I won't know for sure. Until
Who would have the authority to pull the trigger on the creation of these intelligence reports?
They look like, I mean, for the most part, I think these reports that I read, for the most part, are valuable intelligence. However, I think there are just questions in those reports that I wonder does reach that threshold of foreign intelligence, and then you have to ask why were names unmasked.
Just a follow-up, please. Okay, so if this does not seem out of the ordinary to you, is what striking the fact that it was so widely disseminated?
No, I think there's two issues here. There's some information in those documents that concern me in the reports that I read that I don't think belong there. It would make me uncomfortable, and that's why I wanted to inform the president of it. That's one issue. Secondly, there's the issue of unmasking, additional unmasking, and that's, I think, of most concern to me.
It's been a very big week for the committee, the hearing on Monday, and your reports and your trip to the White House. Could you just summarize what you think the committee accomplished this week and your role in it?
Yeah, this is, look, as you know, this is not an easy process because there's politics on both sides of this, and I'm trying to navigate as best as I can. I would say that what we've been very successful at is we have people that continue to come forward to provide us information. And we want that to continue. And the only way we can do that is as long as we provide an avenue that the public or others can come to the committee that want to offer information on this investigation. So we would still encourage whistleblowers to come forward, people who have information about this, whether it's top secret or not, or anyone who has read their name in any press article. They're welcome to come forward and be interviewed, as like I said, we heard from Mr. Manafort yesterday.
The job that you've done as chairman this week.
That's not for me to do.
Mr. Chairman, on the message to clarify, you've seen, you cannot tell whether the communications directly involved a Trump associate, or was it two foreign targets communicating?
No, well, I'm not going to get into the specifics of what I saw, other than it was Mr. Trump and the transition team.
Mr. Chairman, yesterday you heard from Mr. Manafort. Will you call them to testify publicly, such as Paul Manafort, Roger Stone, or Michael Caputo? Will the American people hear from them publicly?
Yeah, if they want to, I don't know that yet. We have to work that out really with Mr. Manafort's legal counsel. We will allow people to come forward in whatever manner that they want to come forward. We will work with them as long as they're willing to come in, especially if they're willing to come in freely. As for the other names, I don't have, there's many names that have been mentioned by several members of Congress and all of you. As I've said before, we're not going to get into a neo-McCarthyism era here where we just start bringing in Americans because they were mentioned in a press story, and I am highly concerned about that. Now, if people want to come in freely, we will do that. As for additional witnesses, I will work with Mr. Schiff. I'm sure that I will have witnesses that I will want to bring in. Mr. Schiff will have witnesses. I know that our staffs and lawyers are trying to talk yesterday and today as to how we move into phase 2 of this investigation. Once the lawyers agree on it, Mr. Schiff and I will sign off on it. I just have to take one more. I have to get back up to vote. We are asking Mr. Comey and Mr. Rogers to come back in, and until we can get them in a closed session, it's not going to be worth it to have the open session. So that time slot, we're hopeful that Mr. Rogers and Mr. Comey will be able to come in next Tuesday in that time slot, so all the members have a chance to interview them and hold a hearing in closed session.
It's not because the last hearing you may not have gone so well.
No, it's exactly for what I said.
Mr. Chairman, Congressman Cummings has called on you to be investigated. What's your response to that?
That's nice.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, on Wednesday, Chairman, Mr. Schiff said that of the names you're talking about that were unmasked, there were actually only one unmasked name that had nothing to do with the Trump team. Is he wrong in saying that?
I'm not going to get into the specifics of that.
Mr. Brennan indicated that these were Trump team names that were unmasked, so were they or weren't they? Because he's saying they were not.
We'll find out. We'll find out when we get the information. I am quite sure that I'm very uncomfortable with it. I'll leave it at that.
Mr. Brennan, Mr. Clapper, Ms. Yates still committed to appearing?
Yes, that's not. It has nothing to do with them. As far as I know, they are still going to come forward, and we encourage others to come forward freely. All right, I have to run up and vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are questions before the settling going to come up in Mr. Manafort's interview?
Look, we are just at the beginning of this. I just wanted to inform all of you that Mr. Manafort agreed to come in voluntarily. Thank you.